And Section C is the place for you to vent about how hard the assignment was, while also earning points for your History IA. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'll be breaking down my own SL History IA, which scored a 7 graded by IB back in May of 2020. I'll walk through each section from sections A to C of the History IA and share my thoughts on how and why I think my IA did well. I've been making a series of videos related to my experience with IB, so be sure to subscribe for more videos about that, plus videos on other aspects of school, productivity, and my life as a med student in Hong Kong. To start, your History IA question should be a conventional approach to an unconventional topic, or an unconventional approach to a conventional topic. Looking back, my topic was meh, but I do like how I approached my investigation on Tito from a positive light. Many people see him as a benevolent dictator, which I thought was really interesting because that phrase already sounds like an oxymoron. As you're writing, don't worry about the little details like formatting and spacing. That can come later. First, focus on just getting your content down. It can be really easy to procrastinate by focusing on the little things, but this should not be your priority at the very beginning. The first section should be about your sources, if IB hasn't changed the IA requirements for history. Make sure you mention your question and how you plan on going about to investigate your topic. In Section A, you should be talking about the strengths and weaknesses of your selected sources. You don't have to evaluate the source that you use the most frequently throughout your IA, just pick the source that has both advantages and disadvantages that you can easily write about. Make sure you talk about why the source is relevant and the origin, purpose, and content of the source. Moving on to Section B. I think that it's important to define your terms in this section. If you're going to be talking about propaganda, define what that actually means and how you're going to be measuring it in your IA. If you're not sure which terms to define, just look at which words you're including in your question. Additionally, make sure that you also address why this investigation is significant. This may be hard to find, so I feel that a great place for inspiration is actually reading the very intro of your sources. Relevant sources will most likely address why the book is about a given topic, and you can bounce ideas off of that. Instead of just stopping at this, however, I also mentioned how it can be seen as a propaganda technique. These were linkages that I personally came up with, and with this direction in mind, it was easier for me to look through my sources to find evidence that education was, in fact, used as propaganda. As you write, think about potential motives or causes, and then look through your sources. Evidence can then be pieced together to support your claim. Also look deeper and consider alternative effects to initial actions. Additionally, pick and choose evidence purposefully. In my IA, I tried to emphasize how Tito was popular due to the beneficial change he brought to Yugoslavia, not simply his use of propaganda. All of my evidence supported this, and I linked some points back to propaganda by pointing out how propaganda was used, but ultimately the tangible results were what garnered Tito his popularity. Stay consistent with your evidence and be deliberate with the evidence that you mention. Finally, in Section C, talk about your struggles, but don't just stop there. After you elaborate on your challenges, talk about what specifically made the issue challenging, and more importantly, how you overcame this challenge. Be specific and give an example instead of talking broadly. Here, I mentioned how it was hard to balance primary and secondary sources. IB wants to see that you grew from your experience of writing your History IA, and Section C is the place for you to vent about how hard the assignment was, while also earning points for your History IA. Is this video helpful? Check out this video on more tips on how to write a History IA, and watch my video about how I prepared for my Spanish oral 2 if you have an upcoming language oral. Thanks for watching!